From day one, we are told who we should be, how to live, and what's acceptable. Before we even have a chance to discover ourselves, our society has already drawn those lines for us. But what happens when those lines are keeping us from knowing and embracing who we truly are? Welcome to Unbox Yourself with Samantha Fox, a podcast about unpacking and unlearning everything that's kept you from living as your true self. Through honest conversations about your internal emotional landscape, sexuality, coming out later in life, relationships, and the journey to self-acceptance, we break free from the boxes we never chose. Hi, and welcome to Unbox Yourself with Samantha Fox. I have a special guest on this week named Callie. Callie reached out to me via social media as she started a journey of her own of noticing some curiosity and some energy and started questioning her sexuality, but didn't really know where she can go to talk about that. So in this episode, Callie will be talking to me for the very first time. She has not spoken about this to anybody. And together we do a lot of leaning into curiosity, exploring, and just trying to make sense of where she is right now and what feels right for her. I just want to let you know that Callie recorded in her car, and there happened to be a thunderstorm in the middle of the recording. So you will hear some portions of the recording where there is loud rain happening in the background. So I apologize for that. The weather did not agree. But I just want to say I am really quite moved by the bravery of this woman for stepping forward, speaking to somebody she's never spoken to before. And not only that, but doing it in a way where it's being broadcast worldwide for other people to listen in. And if you resonate with starting to notice your same-sex attraction and wonder if you're bisexual, then this episode will resonate with you. Thanks so much for being here. Hi, Callie. Welcome to Unbox Yourself with Samantha Fox. It's so lovely to have you here today.
Hi, Samantha. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. So I know that we briefly chatted and you shared that you were in a process of questioning. And so I think that's kind of what we're here for today, is to lean into some curiosity. So I'm going to let you share a little bit with the audience, like your age, and what is it that's coming up for you?
Okay. First, I just want to say that you're the first person I've talked to about this,
Yes.
and I'm nervous, and I don't even really know where to begin. So I'm just gonna start talking, and feel free to steer me.
Absolutely.
So I'm in my early 50s. I am married. I've been married for 11 years, and I love my husband. And I don't think, I don't know, I don't think I'm gay. I think I'm possibly bi.
Okay.
And so I'm questioning. And I've been curious my whole life. Like, my curiosity kind of started when I was a kid. And I have experimented in like elementary school at sleepovers and stuff like that. And I've heard that that's like normal. I hope it is.
Yes.
So I just remember liking that.
Right.
I just kind of chalk that up to being curious and things like that kids are, but I do remember liking it. And I've always kind of found other girls attractive. Not all of them, but just like certain ones. And I don't really know if it's like their personality, like do I want to be like them? Am I attracted to them? So I'm like totally questioning. So a little backstory is, I'm a breast cancer survivor, and that completely wreaked havoc on my body and my sex life and everything. And that's been like a major part of the story of my marriage, and the strain that it's put on. And so there's all this confusion, and I feel like I'm skipping around a lot of places, but it's also how my brain feels inside, just all mixed up and skipped around. And
Yeah. So can I slow you down just for a moment?
yes.
Yeah. So tell me about what age you were when you were diagnosed.
So when I was diagnosed, I was 33. I had just turned 33.
Okay, so that was prior to your marriage.
Yes, I was not married to my husband. I was in a different relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you go through treatment for the
Yeah.
breast cancer?
I had a double mastectomy. I had chemo. I had reconstruction. I went through all of that. And then between 2018 and 2020, I had a second round of reconstruction, a different kind of reconstruction this time. And so it was like a 2-year process.
Okay, and that was while you were in your current marriage.
Yes.
Okay. So when you say that the breast cancer or the treatment wreaked havoc on your marriage,
Mm-hmm. So
what?
it's people always see like the treatment and the surgery and all of that stuff, and your hair gone, but when you like heal or whatever, when you're done with all of that,
Mm-hmm.
um I had a hormone based breast cancer, so I was on tamoxifen. I went immediately into menopause. Not to mention what happened in the relationship I was in. Like basically all of my worst fears came true. In the relationship I was in while I was going through breast cancer. And so I got out of that and I dove into another relationship, and then another relationship, and then I got with my husband, and I never really processed. And what I know
Mm.
now, looking back, is so I had multiple nervous breakdowns. Sex became impossible, like physically impossible, so painful. And it started to become like a tension. And I would explain to, I wasn't married to him yet, but I would explain to him, like, it's too painful. And it got to the point where I just didn't even, I disconnected from my sexuality completely. I didn't feel like a sexual being at all. I hated sex. I didn't want to think about it. I wanted to live by myself on a mountaintop and never think about it again. And I was frustrated. Like, I understood his frustration, but I also was so just aggravated with the whole, like this has nothing to do with you. But then I
Mm-hmm.
started to wonder, like, well, maybe there is something else going on, because there's like a psychological component as far as what it does chemically to your brain and being in menopause, and then there's the CPTSD of having that. My whole world was rocked, and just trying to, I don't know, I just became very angry that I was going through it, and like it was extremely painful. I had to use dilators, like it was awful. It was
Yeah.
awful.
It sounds like it was a vaginismus.
Oh yeah, and I still suffer from that, but I've learned about the pelvic floor, and like I've learned breathing techniques and that I have to relax, but then that gets into the whole libido and approach, like his approach and what I get aroused by, and that's where I'm like, okay, so I don't, that's why I'm like, I find my husband attractive, but like when I've seen porn and I've had to watch porn to help reconnect myself as a sexual person, but it's hard to find porn that isn't horrible, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I always focus on the woman. I always focus on the woman, and again, like, to get like right down in it, like, I don't know if what I'm focusing on, like, do I wish that was me? Do I, or like I'll watch like girl on girl, you know, like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like, do I wish that was me? Do I like the connection? Like, I don't know. So I'm like questioning, and then it wasn't until this year that I was like I've always kind of in the back of my head wondered, and there's like all of the subliminal stuff too. Like, I love rainbows, and I just have like, I always like post rainbows, and I just, this, it wasn't until this year that I was like, I think I need to start looking into this and seeing, because it was always something that I knew was there and I would just pushed aside. And I was like, I can't deal with this right now. I can't deal with this right now. Even though I know
Yeah.
my family would approve,
Mm-hmm.
it's just, it would rock my world. But I don't know if being bi would rock my world. You know, I don't know, like, would he be okay if I was bi? Like, I don't know. I don't know how it'll change my life. I don't know if I need to, if I need to tell him. Like, I don't know.
Well, first, I just want to say, yes, I hear you. How many years you were going through so much trauma and how that really, had so many different effects on you, including disconnecting you from your sexual self, because there couldn't have been any space for that during that time when you were just really trying to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like the relationships, at the time, and like you said, your worst nightmares came true. So like on top of going through this terrifying experience with the diagnosis and the treatment and the surgery and the reconstruction, and then the relationship falling apart. And then it sounds like you had a few other relationships before you got into this one. So I mean, it's like a lot for one's nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
And being, in such a state of survival is not something that really promotes a lot of being embodied, right? Like when we're in survival mode, we're not really fully embodied in ourself. And so that disconnect makes a lot of sense, what I'm hearing that happened for you.
Yeah.
I guess I'm curious to hear what the meaning is for you around, look, let's say this. I know people that are straight. I have friends that are straight, and they have had experiences where their husband wanted to bring a woman in with them so that they could have a threesome. And they did, because they were just like, yeah, whatever. Like, I'm willing to, do something and try different things and whatnot. And afterwards, they were just like, I have no interest in that. Like, that just was not, I am not at all attracted to women. So they don't get at all turned on by women. They're like man oriented, right? So I do have these friends. I mean, I'm a lesbian, so sometimes I look at these people and I'm like, how is it even possible? But okay. So the fact that you do like women, you do like to watch women, it doesn't really matter what it is about it, whether it's that you can see their connection or the energy between them, or you appreciate the beauty of the female figure, or whatever it is. That says that you are not all the way at one end of the spectrum, right? So there's a whole spectrum for sexuality, for fluidity, right? So some people are all the way at one end or all the way at the other end, and then there's tons of space in the middle. So we can say that you're not all the way pinned up against the wall on one side. You are somewhere in the fluid section, because you appreciate a woman. You remember these experiences from when you were younger on these sleepovers, and they were like pretty exciting and fun. Right? And so that I'm going to say that puts you into the for now into the, somewhere in the fluid category. So some people call it bisexual, some people call it queer, some people call it pansexual. I mean, there's lots of different things to call it, but we can say you're not 100% straight.
Yeah, I don't think I am. Like, I know I'm not. Because
Okay.
I meet people and they don't even have to be, and this is where, like, I don't really know the terminology, so if I make a mistake, I apologize. Like, I have even known of non-binary people that I find attractive, and
Yeah.
it's like, it's more about the personality and the connection and the
Mm-hmm.
excitement of getting to know a person. Not that I have, like, acted on any of that, but I definitely find myself very curious about people. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, I don't want to assume anybody's gender or anybody's history or anything like that. They could be, a lot of them present as female, but I don't know for sure. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't care. I still think there's something about them that's very attractive and
Yeah.
curious to me and interesting.
Yeah. So, and I think that that's really valid. And that
Mm.
sounds like it sounds like it's very true for you. It's very authentic. It's very aligned. It's, you're not pushing yourself to try to be curious. You are curious.
Yeah.
There is some energy there for you. There is something that is very alive in that space for you. So I think you can honor that. And then in terms of like the label, it's the sort of like, well, so what does this mean about me? And I think there's one very spacious thing you could say, which is it just means I'm not straight, right?
Yeah.
So that's super spacious. And then from there are other labels, and a lot of people really don't like labels. Like, I know a lot of women, or especially women who are coming out later, feel like, oh my God, I lived my whole life boxed in as a heterosexual woman. I don't want to now have to enter into another box and be boxed in as bisexual or boxed in as lesbian or anything like that. And then I also know people who really like love their label, and they're really proud to be bisexual, or they're really proud to be lesbian. So there is no right or wrong, is kind of what I'm saying around this. But what I'm hearing you say is, I have this truth that I've recognized about myself, and I'm concerned about if I were to share, I'm not straight, let's just use that for now, with my husband, I'm concerned about what that might mean for him. So I guess, yeah. So I'm curious about that. Like, say more about that.
I don't know how he would receive it. I don't know if he would be like, okay, cool, I don't care, or, because that's definitely a possibility. He has that side of his personality. I don't know if, given that we've had all of the issues, and, like, I start to get a little choked up here, all of the issues that we've had and the mental fuckery that it has caused in both of our heads. It's a very tangled mess. It's not just I'm the one that's broken. What happens psychologically is he starts to think it's him, and then I physically have, like, a bristle reaction where I tense up, and then and it's this vicious cycle, and then he's afraid to touch me, and then all of this stuff. And so I'm afraid that if I say, oh, hey, guess what? He'll be like, oh, well, this all makes sense. Maybe this was the problem the whole time. And I don't know. I just don't. And I don't want my life to be disrupted. Because I don't necessarily not want to be with him. I'm just afraid if I told him, he wouldn't want to be with me anymore. Or that since we've had so much trouble or not trouble, but yeah, it's trouble. But since we've had so many struggles, that he would be like, oh, okay, I'll just go be with whoever I want because I don't want that either. You know, I don't know. I don't know what I want, honestly. I just don't want my world to be turned upside down.
Yeah, so that's what you want right now. Right now, what you want is stability, is kind of what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah.
And so I guess what, is there something that feels, you know, like you're keeping a truth away from him by not telling him? Like, is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like that now that I'm admitting it out loud outside of my head, and I'm ready to like possibly it like come out. I mean, I don't know if I'm ready for that yet, but I would feel comfortable too if I knew there wouldn't be an issue, because I don't necessarily feel like I need to go act on it right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just I would want that to happen organically.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's very clear that this is aligned with you. You're not really questioning. I mean, while you say you're questioning, I'm hearing you're not really questioning whether or not you're straight. I think it's pretty clear to you that you're somewhere on that spectrum of fluidity. Right?
Yeah. Well, I think what I'm questioning is because I haven't had any like adult experiences outside of, you know, just a little bumping and a grinding in elementary school, you know, and I don't know, like I might, I don't know, like what if I do experiment and I'm like, okay, yeah, this isn't for me like I thought it might be, but maybe I just, you know, like I don't know, this is where the questioning part, like I don't know, I think I have to actually try it to know.
Yeah, so I think it's interesting. It's interesting because I just recorded an episode with a client of mine from a few years ago who literally intentionally didn't have any experience with another person until she was fully out and also like exiting her marriage. And he was very supportive of that with her. First of all, I think, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like this idea of when you're young and you start dating guys and, you know, there's no like, well, before I decide if I actually like guys, I just need to like have some sexual experiences with them. And if I like sex with them, then I like guys. But if I don't like the sex with them, then I don't think I'm straight, right? That doesn't exist in the other direction. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of an interesting thing to just think about. Your body is telling you something. It sounds very aligned and very embodied. You have a lot of curiosity. There's a lot of energy there. You look at women in porn, you know, woman on woman porn, or if it's heterosexual porn, you're only watching the women. Mm-hmm. Do you fantasize at all?
No, I honestly, I don't. Okay. I don't do that about men either.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's an interesting thing to kind of think about questioning this very embodied feeling for you of like connection and interest and curiosity, though with men, there isn't that question in the same way, you know? And if you kind of think of it like when we first start dating men or boys when you're younger, it's certainly possible that like a first experience or a second experience with somebody could be not good. Like the sexual part might kind of miss the mark. But that doesn't send us the signal that we're not straight. Like we might have bad sex with a guy and he might be really bad in bed, but that doesn't tell us we're not straight. Like, we might not like it, but we still think we're straight. So on this other side, to feel like, well, I would need to see if I have the experience and if I like it, that might not give you the answer. It really depends on who you're with and what that experience, you know what I mean? So it's like it's not like an equal comparison. So it sounds like there's a part of you that's like kind of gaslighting you a little bit about what feels real for you, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Totally. I gaslight myself.
Yeah. So and I'm just wondering about that.
Well, so
like yeah.
there's like another layer to this is while I'm also starting to dip my toe into this whole new topic for me to explore, I am also coming to terms with the fact that I was diagnosed ADHD a long time ago, but I am also seeing things, you know, like you see reels and TikToks about being on the autism spectrum and being undiagnosed, and there's so many things where I am like, oh my gosh, so not only am I kind of like dipping my toe into this, it's like I've spent my entire life masking, and I'm at this point where I am like so fed up after everything I've been through, because I believe that illness and our emotions and our spiritual and energetic bodies are all related, and that's a whole nother topic.
Yes, I agree.
But I spent my entire life people pleasing and like taking the emotional temperature, walking on eggshells. Like, I am so freaking tired of being somebody I'm not, to not rock the boat, that I'm at this point where I'm like, I'm putting boundaries, like, but I'm starting to understand, like, maybe, although I don't need to have labels or anything like that, it does help me name things like, okay, so what if I am autistic or on the, you know, on the spectrum? Like, what do I do about that? Like, do I need to do anything? Like, I have no idea. But right now it's making sense to me, because I am like, okay, I'm unmasking, and I am just so fed up with being who I am not.
I love
Because
that.
I never
Yeah,
knew
good for
who
you.
I was. I never knew who I was. I was always trying to morph into whoever I was with to survive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're ready to thrive. Like you've been surviving for 50 years and you are really tired of that, and you are ready to just thrive, and whatever that means. Like, you're not going to fake it, and you're not going to just be somebody to make somebody else happy and somebody else comfortable, but you're really ready to just be whoever you are, no matter what that means for other people. You're not going to change that.
Yeah, and it's just taking that step. You know, I have people in my life around me that have different views than me, and they have to be in my life.
Are these family members?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and although they're not like family members, but you know, I need to not care about what their reaction or response is going to be, or what they say, because I can't control it anyway. And I just have to keep reminding them, I can't control what people think or say. I can't.
Yeah. And so what's the danger there? So in other words, you're tired of being who other people want you to be. You're going to be yourself. You're going to speak in alignment with who you are today and just live from that place. And then you have these people who might not like that, and they might talk to other people about you. They might gossip about you. They might say something to you about it.
Well, just for like for my husband's sake, you know, like I don't know. I just don't know. Like if he's not accepting of it or not okay with it with me, I just want to be honest with him how I feel. It's just more like I'm just being a chicken. Basically, I'm just scared. I'm just scared.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's valid. I think
Like
that's
I'm
just part of this, and unfortunately that really comes from the conditioning
yeah.
in our society, and that all comes from like the heteropatriarchy and religion, and you know, and compulsory heterosexuality, which tells you that there's one way to be and that's the right way. And so therefore if you're anything outside of that, then that's terrifying and wrong. And so then there becomes, people are afraid of that thing, which creates homophobia, and then we end up feeling internalized fear of, you know, like we might be good with gay people, like I love the gays, I'm good with the gays, but then when it's us, it's like, yeah, but that's not for me. Like I can't come out, I can't say I'm gay, I can't say I'm bisexual, even I can't say I'm attracted to women, even because what are people going to think of me, right? So then that's where it becomes very insidious, you know, internally. So I'm hearing two things at once, right? Let me just reflect back to what I'm hearing. I'm hearing,
Okay.
on one hand, I am so freaking tired of living a life for other people, you know, tiptoeing around, making sure everybody's okay and everybody else is happy. I am tired, and like I have been sick from it, and I am not doing that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be real and be myself.
Yes.
And then I'm also hearing over here, I'm realizing that I'm not straight, and I don't quite know what to do with that myself. Part of me wants to be in integrity and really share that with my spouse, but I am afraid that if I do, it's going to make him uncomfortable and send him off to spiraling about a lot of different things that we've had trouble about, and he's going to come to his own conclusions about it, and then the shit's going to hit the fan, and then things are going to feel hard, and things are going to be disrupted, and things are going to just be, you know, chaotic, and I don't want any chaos, right? So on one hand, it's like fuck everybody, I'm going to just be me. On the other hand, it's like, but I don't want any chaos. Which Is that accurate? Yeah.
It's
Okay.
exactly, and that's why it's so hard living in my head, living in this body. Like I feel like I'm a walking contradiction, and I didn't even know about the term. What was it? Internalized
Homophobia.
homophobia. I didn't even know about that until I found you. And I was like, well, that makes sense. And it's like, when you said, oh, it's okay for everybody. It's like, not for me though. But it's so funny that I guess I do feel like that, but it's nothing that's outwardly judgmental to anybody else. And
Absolutely.
it's just one of those things. Like, I've had so much, I feel like I've had so much like relationship drama in my life, and you know, while I'm also trying to unpack this new, you know, part of me that I'm looking at, or I guess it's not a new part of me, but this part of me I'm finally looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And then also at the same time, like, figuring out, like, oh my gosh, like, I am ADHD and maybe even on the autism spectrum, and I feel like if I come out with all of this at once, like, oh my gosh, I figured out what's wrong with me. You know, I like, what's quote unquote, what's wrong with me? You know, like, I just wasn't being myself is really what's wrong with me. And I'm afraid of, you know, having you guys eye roll, like, oh, you had breast cancer, and, you know, then you had celiac disease, and oh, now you have, you know, this going on. And just kind of like, I feel like everybody's just sick of it. And I'm sick of it too. And I just want to, like, be me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yes, it's
It's
a
just
lot.
confusing. But I feel like
Yeah.
there's just all of this. like I'm discovering like I feel like I'm putting puzzle pieces together, and I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe this is why I feel like I can't move forward in any other area of my life, because I'm not being who I am, and I'm starting to cry, and I know that that means I'm hitting something, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that because having your life derailed by a serious illness and then having it wreak havoc on your life after that, like
Mm-hmm.
the part that
Mm-hmm.
people don't see, that at the time when I was going through it, there weren't like Facebook, groups and support things, and there
You
wasn't
felt
like,
really alone. Yeah.
yeah, like, and then when I was going through all of the like sexual dysfunction, it was like embarrassing, and I felt like I was less of a woman, and so like going through all of that, um, I don't know. It's a lot, and it's just like I don't know if I can. I just don't know if I'm ready to like actually do anything about it, but I am ready to start talking about it.
Yeah. It sounds like there have been people in your life around you, but again, in this way where you've described needing to like kind of try to keep everybody else happy somehow, and people not really seeing what you're struggling with and really understanding how hard things have been for you. It kind of sounds like you haven't really had just really, I don't know, like clear and pure support for who you are somehow.
No,
Um,
I haven't. I haven't.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
always like, get over it, get up. You should be
Mm,
glad you're alive. And I'm like, but you don't know what's going on. You don't get it. You don't
yeah,
understand what's
yeah.
going
Not a
on in
lot of
my real life.
validation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then like even, when you're surrounded by people who everybody's wired differently and everybody handles stress differently and depression and anxiety or whatever. Some people can compartmentalize and like take care of business, and what I learned was I was in, I guess, nervous system
for,
dysregulation. I don't know if I was in the fawn state, but I wasn't able to work. I wasn't able to work for years, and I'm kind of in that spot right now again.
mm-hmm.
But like, I I have more tools than I did the first time I went through that. Um,
Good, good. And I mean, I love that you reached out to me. That kind of shows your ability to kind of, you know, have your back in a way and like try to take care of yourself in some way, by finding somebody that you can have this conversation with that isn't part of your, inner circle, that is not particularly supportive, but more just like pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
yeah.
So it sounds like I'm hearing that you've lived through a lot of trauma. And this is like, now we're only talking about from the time you were diagnosed. I don't know historically what happened in your early life, right? But at least just let's say from your early 30s, you
Hmm.
had, all of this stuff happening, relationships ending in a traumatic way, and difficulty with your, with being sexually active, and that then affecting how much even desire you had, because there were so
Hmm.
many emotions tied up in it, and feeling like something's wrong with you and you're broken, and right. So all of this stuff. Um, and it sounds like, although I hear you, that you are kind of like in your early 50s and you're like, fuck it, like, fuck everybody. Like, I just want to be me. Right. So I hear that. I do hear that. And I also hear like a very, still very like traumatized, still being in a space that's very raw and
Yeah.
very scared. And so what I kind of want to say is I feel like as much as this other like screw it, I just want to be me is there, I think maybe you can validate that, like validate that part that's saying that,
Yeah.
and also like lead it from a little bit more of a like a calm state of being, which is I need more time and maybe support and maybe even community around just being able to explore this part of my identity before I do anything, before I start telling people and coming out with this news, because I'm not ready. I'm hearing you say I'm not ready for any kind of fallout
Right.
from it.
Yeah. Because I'm not in a
I
place
can't.
where if there was, I'm not in a place where I could support myself, honestly.
Right. So, right.
Yeah.
So I think there's this really, you know, very calm adult self that knows that truth, right? I need to be
Yeah.
able to be on my own feet. I need to be able to take care of myself. I can, at the same time that I'm doing those things and getting myself into that position, continue to explore internally and maybe with community with other people who are also exploring. Again, like there are Facebook groups there, you know, I have a community of people. You know, there are ways to explore this with yourself. I can read books, I can watch movies, whatever it is. um, while I know that this is happening and at some point I want to be able to share this, I need to do more kind of internal researching with this as I continue to get myself on my feet and feel less scared about the outcome of what this could mean for me.
Yeah, there's that. And then there's I also don't want to hurt my husband. Like, if I don't know how he would feel, and I don't want to hurt him either. Like,
Right. And I just want to say that tends to fall back into the people pleasing,
yeah,
because what we're talking about here is a part of your identity that has been sort of like shoved down or just sort of been sleeping or hiding or whatever, because you've had a lot to contend with all of these years. So it hasn't been the first priority. It's something that you've been noticing more and more. And this is like we're talking about like a part of who you are as a human.
yeah,
You know, and so it's like, it doesn't have to mean anything other than that.
yeah,
Like, I haven't given this attention and I'd like to, you know, I'd like to integrate it and have it be part of my identity. And, you know, and for now we can say it doesn't sound like you're looking to leave your marriage or anything like that. So, you know, I'm not sure like, I know that you guys have had sexual difficulty.
and we're
So I
working
get,
on that. Just so you know, we are working
okay.
through that. I've had to do a lot of work, and I've had to work with him as far as like his approach and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm. Okay.
yeah,
So, you know, I mean, it's sort of, I don't know, it's unclear what about you being bisexual or pansexual or not straight would hurt him.
That's a good question. I think it goes back to all of the struggles that we've had and him going like, oh, so you just aren't attracted to me. That's what this was the whole time. And you've used your, oh, well, all of, what happened with the fallout from all of the treatment I had and the hormone blockers I was on and
all of this stuff. Oh, okay, so I'm just afraid because afraid. I hate that I'm using that word, but I just don't want to have to defend myself.
So, in other words, you're just saying, like, hey, this is part of my identity. I'm kind of realizing that. And in that, he might come in and just like sweep all of the truth of the many, many years that you've been struggling to work with him on this away and
Yeah,
just
because
say, none of,
that's happened with other things. So I kind of like it could go one of well, it could go a million different ways, but like I feel like it would either be that or no, okay, cool. Okay, no big deal because I never know what I'm going to get.
and when, clients that I've worked with, when they have come out to their spouses or male partners and they've come out as bisexual, most of the time the response is, oh, cool, and then I also hear a response of like, oh, do you want to have a threesome? Do you want to find a woman to bring into our sexual intimacy? That would be kind of fun for me. I'm up for that, right? Which sometimes women have a hard time with because they're kind of like, this is about my identity. Like, this isn't about you. Um, like this is not about you doing something fun. I'm trying to tell you about my identity. So I find that women get a little bit annoyed with that second response. In your case, I think because there has been difficulty and struggle because of everything that you've gone through, the surgery, the hormone blockers, all of that stuff, the going into menopause, just like that, and him taking what you were actually going through personally, like that it was about you not being attracted to him. I think that then bringing this up, I see why you feel a little bit concerned, because if he was unable to see everything that you were going through and instead taking it personally, I would imagine that he would tend to probably take this personally too.
Yeah, because that's what we would fight about. Like, he would feel rejected, which I understand because, men have needs. I get that whole thing, but and it's like it's not all about me. He's experiencing it too as a partner. So I
Mm-hmm.
understand his side of it, but I also like it it was such a pain in my ass and it just made me want to be like, "You know what? How about I just don't ever have fucking sex again because I can't even like heal. Is that gaslighting? Like what is that? Like I don't know. I'm asking you because I don't know if what I experienced like him making it about him like, "Oh, you're just not attracted to me." And I'm like, "No, that's not what it is."
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
physically hurts and it makes me not want to and you're being a
Yeah.
jerk about it, which makes me extra not want to. So,
Exactly. It adds to the cycle. It definitely adds to the cycle. I think it's,
yeah.
there is this way at times. I mean, certainly not all men, because I can't even share the unbelievable responses I have seen in men since I've been working with women who are coming out later that are just so supportive. I mean,
Yeah.
I did not have that experience myself. I had somebody who was a little bit more like your partner, who was like very angry and I think felt very emasculated by me being attracted to women or to a woman in particular. So, it just sounds like this is somebody who, I don't know, like he sounds a little insecure and it's a little bit hard for him to get out of himself and his needs as a man and actually see what you're going through. Like he's not really able to step out of himself and see like you are really struggling and really suffering.
Yeah. Um yeah, and it's like and then that, there's that part of me that wants to come to his defense and be like, "But I haven't told him and he hasn't had that reaction." So I don't know. He could be like, "Okay, cool." But with all of that other stuff, yeah, like I literally had to fight and defend myself, not like physically fight, but defend myself, like, and after a while I'm like, yeah, and so I've been doing all of this stuff to like work on me, and so I can like physically have sex again, and like doing all of this stuff. What are you doing? you
Yeah.
know and
Yeah.
so, and I had to like, I had books about intimacy after cancer, and I was like, you need to read this and understand that this is not in my head, like. And
Yeah.
so it took years of like fighting and cycles and
Mm.
cycles, and I don't like, I really do love him and care about him, so I obviously don't think I would have stuck through it if I didn't feel that way. I mean, I don't know what I I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't. But I feel like right now I'm just working on saying this out loud,
Mm-hmm.
and when I feel like I think I'll know when the time is right to tell him.
Yes, I agree.
I'll
I
know.
think you will. And it won't be in a reaction.
Yeah.
And I think that the thing that I'm hearing that feels like it could be a bit triggering for him is because of the difficulty you've had for
Mhm.
these years, and him not reading the books and kind of blaming it on you not being attracted to him. And this has been an ongoing issue that you've really had a hard time with. I think when you bring up the idea of not being straight to him, that there is inside of that this element of, well, how do you know that you're not straight? And then it sort of leaks into this area of, well, because I have some curiosity and some attraction or some energy with certain people, and I've noticed that, or when I watch porn, I focus on the women or whatever. And so that there's that word that's like a very triggery word in your relationship, which is attraction.
Mhm.
And that if you know you're not straight, that means you feel some attraction toward women, where in your partnership, his sensitivity has been, you're not attracted to me.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so I think it does have that potential to trigger that wounding that he has, which is about his own, his own insecurity in this way that you're not attracted to him. I do see why telling him that has that little kernel in there that could light that up in his brain. Oh, well, you do feel attracted to women, but you didn't feel attracted to me for all those years. I don't know.
Mhm.
It
Yeah. And
just,
it's like, and I'm working on the whole libido thing, and I don't know what I would do, like, if, like, I don't even know that if I was quote unquote able to, and I could be with a woman that I was attracted to, I don't know if I would have a libido. I have no idea because I'm still trying to find my libido again, but I don't, it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Like, is it that there's more to my sexuality and that's why my libido is gone? But I do have all of this very valid physical, you had breast cancer, you were on tamoxifen, you're in menopause, like all of this stuff. Like, I have a lot of very valid stuff for not having a libido either.
yes,
So I don't even
yes.
know. And it's like, I don't even necessarily want to go out and find a woman, I just want to be like able to say yes. And what you said is exactly like, then he'd be like, well, how did you figure this out? And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, I scroll on Instagram and see something that I'm like, oh,
well, you know, why does that turn me on? You know, like I think I need to like look at that, you know? And I listened to that podcast episode that you were talking about, like your most recent one, and
Okay.
I related to a lot of what
Yes.
she was saying, and I was like, yeah, and I think I would feel the same way. Like I would want, I don't think I would want to go outside of my marriage and figure it out. I think I would want
Mm-hmm.
to make sure, because it's like I don't feel like I need to fill some need right now. I just
Mm-hmm.
want to, I feel like I'm not being honest with him, and I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's that fear that it's gonna like make this whole, and if it's like if I'm not feeling like I need to like scratch an itch or anything, like, well then why do I need to even bring it up? So there's like this whole like mind fuckery going on in my head. Like am I selfish by needing to like, if I don't necessarily want anything to change right now?
Yeah.
I don't know. So I guess that's where my questioning comes in.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is really personal. I don't think there's like I'm going to say there's no one right way to do it. I think there are better ways than others. I always share, what I did, which was like the worst. But I was 32 and I just didn't know any better. And I thought I was straight until the minute I met somebody else. And then I realized, holy shit, I'm not straight. And then I was like, I'm the lesbian. And then within 5 weeks, my marriage with 3 young kids, everything blew up. And it was very difficult for many, many years
Mhm.
afterwards. So that was not well thought out. I think the way that you're approaching this is much smarter and much more mature. And I don't think that there's, like I said, like one right path for you to do with this. But what I'm hearing is that the fear you have of him having a negative reaction right now feels like for you, the consequences are too big. Like those are too big for you to handle right now. If he didn't have a good reaction to it, like you're not in a state where you're feeling like you can handle some big kind of blow up.
Right. Yeah, I'm not up for a tower moment right now.
Right. And that's okay. That's valid. And just being honest with
Yeah.
yourself about that. And in that case, look, this is about you. Like right now, this is about you. And you're still working on things with him. Like this is not changing anything right now with him. This is just about you doing some exploration with yourself.
Mhm.
And I think that that is totally valid. And as a individual, as a human and a soul here, at this point in time, you are allowed to do that. You are allowed to be curious internally about what's happening and give yourself the space and time to do that until you come to a place where you feel like you're ready to share that. Should you
Yeah.
get there, should that feel important, and that
Mhm.
is valid and okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not doing something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's what made me want to talk to you, because I know there's got to be other people like that feel the same way, that aren't ready, but they're like, what the hell is going on? And I don't know. So I wanted to just um talk to somebody who obviously knows and deals with this kind of thing, and um because I don't know what else to do right now.
Yeah, I have so much respect for your actual self energy today that is taking care of you in the way that you did reach out and you did say, I'm going to come on and talk to you about this because I'm sure other people also feel this way. That's really brave and courageous of you to come and talk about it when you've never said this out loud to anybody else. And you also don't know me. So I really appreciate you and how, it's like a lot of power in that, really. Like it's really a beautiful thing for you to do for yourself, also for other people. And there are communities, like I've said, I think on Facebook, there are some private communities And I have a group called the Bi Life, which is filled with women that are all wondering where they are on the spectrum and questioning. We meet together twice a month, and then they also have writing prompts and thought topics during the time when we're not meeting, and I answer questions for them in the chat. So, there are things out there. There are books you can read. There are things you can be doing in the meantime to just sort of consolidate internally where you are with all of this while you build yourself up to a place where you feel you want to share. Should that come to fruition, that's really, it's your journey that you get to choose that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
You're so welcome. So I hope that this is, helpful for you in order for you to take this and just move forward and be kind to yourself, understand that you have different parts of you that are kind of pulling you in different directions, fuck everybody. And also I'm not ready for a big drama right now. Right. And just kind of trying to stay aligned and follow your path, and discover yourself around the autism, the ADHD, your sexuality. These are all parts of yourself that you can take the space to understand before you go out and share them with the whole world.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
Yeah, that feels good. Just helping me make sense of it. Mm-hmm. Put it together and make sense of it.
Okay, good. I'm so glad. Thank you for coming on, and I'd be more than happy to have you on again. And you can share where you are after you've done more exploring.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I really appreciate you sharing this with my audience, and and just showing up for yourself in this way where you were so brave to hop on and do this today. So thank you so much.
And thank you for having me and for creating this space. I appreciate that.
You're so welcome.
Thank you for spending this time with me on Unbox Yourself with Samantha Fox. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps more folks find these conversations. If you're ready to unbox from something that's keeping you stuck, I would love to support you. You can find the application to the show at unboxyoursexuality.com. Let's stay connected. Find me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Lesbian Curiosity Coach. Give me a follow and join the conversation. Remember, we only have this one time through. Why not unbox yourself and let your true self shine in all its beautiful glory?